debut today. It means that he joins twin brother Stephen in the Laois attack. This then is the Laois selection. The success of the minor teams in the All-Ireland series is clearly evident all through the team. Take for instance the half-back line, which sees Derek Conroy from the 96 team and Joe Higgins from the 97 side manning the wings. Experience is supplied in midfield, where Tony Marr and George Doyle will be confident of doing well. More minor stars are in the attack, where Chris Conway leads from the pivotal position. But look at the talent Laois have in attack. Ian Fitzgerald, Damien Delaney, Hughie Emerson joining the Kelly twins. Paul Croft, sent off in the league against Cork, has served his 12-week suspension and returns to championship duty in his familiar half-back position. His selection creates a change in the defensive formation. Goalkeeper and full-back remains intact from the Louth game, but Croft's return means no place for Shane Ryan, who started at centre-back the last day. Paul Kern now wears number 6 with Keith Galvin on the other side. Midfielders Kieran Whelan and Brian Steins looked impressive, and manager Tommy Carr has remained faithful to the tactical plan of playing Enda Sheehy at wing forward, but really he will operate as a third midfielder. Well, as you can see, Hill 16 packed to capacity here. The Dublin supporters amongst the best in the country, adding colour, song and indeed voice. It's essentially a relatively small crowd. The atmosphere is quite electric. That electricity very much supplied by the Dublin supporters in particular on stake. Leinster Championship semi-final about to get underway. Laois having failed to beat Dublin in the Leinster Championship match since 1981, and they defeated them by 2-9 to 11 points in Tullamore. Kieran Whelan winning the first free. Not a good ball by Paul Croft. First line ball to Laois. High challenge, hefty challenge. It was a shoulder, and that's why the referee was correct to let play continue. Laois have the situation under control. Remember, this is a very young Laois side, but above all else, they're boosted tremendously by their All-Ireland successes at minor level. And now, that success is beginning to pay dividends. But maybe not quite today, because Keith Galvin has scored the first point of the match. And that showed maturity and experience. The very factor that just might be missing in this Laois side. Well taken score for the left half back. Laois, from a strategic point of view, are waiting for the breaks and so far getting them. Hughie Emerson has gone inside, but it's an easy ball instead for David Byrne. Keith Galvin, the only man to score in this match so far. And the Sheehy, good crossfield ball, good vision by the number 10 from St. Jude's Club. Paul Croft, back to Kieran Whelan. I always think those sort of passes are a total waste of time. They're so near. Brian Steins, difficult enough angle, but Steins can score. Good point by the midfielder. It really came from the crossfield ball from Enda Sheehy. Paul Croft saw Kieran Whelan. Brian Steins was producing the overlap on the far wing. And a well-taken score. Keith Galvin running onto it. First touch for Brendan O'Brien. Staying with him, Eamon Delaney. Declan Darcy, under pressure, did very well. The first member of the Dublin attack to score. They now have 3 points on the scoreboard. Wind assisted. Fergal Byrne not intent on opening up the play by switching wings, and as a result Dublin continued to dominate in that sector where Brian Steins and Kieran Whelan are. That's a great ball to Darcy, same position as before. He lops it and it's got over. He actually seemed to miss-hit this, and I'm sure Declan might tell us afterwards that he knew exactly what he was doing. But when we see it in the replay, I think you will get the feeling that that was not quite what Declan intended. The result was, but the manner in which he kicked it. Just watch this. Great ball from Brian Steins. Here's Darcy, seemed to just hook it, but hooked enough over Fergal Byron's crossbar. Gavin's it second time round. Barney Marr going down as a defensive midfielder. This is better play by Laois. Hughie Emerson. They should use the long ball really, because there's an amount of space up front. Damien Delaney, very talented player from Stradbally, looping that one in, but it's nobody there to lend assistance. But if Laois are going to play this defensively as such, because they have to against the breeze, then they should use the long ball. Here's George Doyle. He hits it very well, and it's just, well, one umpire put up his hand and the other signal wide. I think George Doyle is having a word with the referee as we see the replay here. He hit it very, very high. Now just watch the umpire behind the goalpost, behind the net as such, because he's one signal's wide, there's the other one put in, and then he thought about it second time. Well gathered by Kieran Whelan. Paul Kern always seems available. Good running by Brendan O'Brien into Sheehy. Pumping it into the corner for Ian Robertson to get his first touch in this Leinster semi-final. Makes a good angle for himself and takes his point. The conversion of Ian Robertson continues on a successful voyage. From defender to attack, certainly Ian Robertson has talent. It's a good ball by Enda Sheehy to allow Robertson to run onto it. Had the composure and the confidence to take on Declan Rooney, and with the left foot hit a good score. Declan Darcy. Ian Robertson. Declan Rooney was pulling the big number 14, so it's going to be a free for Dublin. Jim Gavin. It's it over the bar. Dundalk clubman gets his first point. Laois yet to register a single white flag. It was an optimistic pass to say the least, as his colleague was under pressure. Hughie Emerson, they start again. Good play by Stephen Kelly. Again, Dublin backs doing very well. And they'll initiate a move at the far wing perhaps. George Doyle going for the point, dropping it in. Chris Conway had sneaked inside the cover, couldn't avail of it. Here's Barney Marr, he'll put it over. There's Laois's first point. Rather appropriate that it's the Laois captain that scores their first point. Time to think. Tom Cribben on the extreme right, the manager of Laois, discussing with Dennis Lawlor, Mark Kavanagh and Brian Delaney, as Laois now begin to come to grips with this Croke Park encounter. That's a better ball. Fullback is in deep trouble here, and there is a penalty. Damien Delaney had gone inside Paddy Christie. Now, Seamus Pryor indicated it was a penalty, and now I think he's after changing his mind, and it's a free because it's outside the large rectangle. But from out the field where Seamus Pryor was, he thought that this long ball, which was gathered and crept inside by Delaney, pulling the jersey, down went Delaney. In fact, it's only a free. Second point of the match for Laois. Ian Fitzgerald the scorer. And the scoreboard now looks far better. 6 points to 2. There's confirmation, Mick Lawlor on, Chris Conway off. And here is the aforementioned Mick Lawlor. Referee waves play on. Hughie Emerson was looking for a free, and Dublin have the situation under control. Great ball though by Brian Stynes. Out towards Paul Croft. Good vision. The long ball by Croft is inside to the goalkeeper, who did very well. Oh! And lucky to survive. Sort of play that wouldn't boost the confidence of the Laois supporters. Good long ball again, down towards Stephen Kelly. Hughie Emerson creates the space inside. Here's a chance for Kelly. That is going over the bar. Croke Park is now alive with the sounds of the shouts and the roars of the people of Laois. This was a good ball from Lawlor. Again, it was a long ball inside. In towards the corner forward, Kelly. He did very well here, considering he was facing Tomas Lynch. Had the confidence to turn inside, and with the left boot, scored well. Knocked away by Kieran Whelan. Picked up, however, by Joe Higgins. Very young, talented player, and he's doing very well at wing-back. That's a good ball down towards Stephen Kelly. Tomas Lynch fouls him, and now Laois are beginning to get into their stride. Damien Delaney, and the point where he missed the first free, scores the second time round. Well, credit as well the Laois management. The Dublin half-back line were totally dominant. They've now changed two in that half-forward line. Mick Lawlor, David Sweeney in. This is Tom Kelly who was taken off. But the change has already paying dividends. George Doyle. That's a better ball now to Hughie Emerson. Mick Lawlor on the run. Good play by Laois. He really wants to prove a point. He should have been on the first 15, and he wins his county a free. It's inspirational stuff by Laois. There's a self-belief in this young, very young team. This was a wonderful piece of interaction by Hughie Emerson and Mick Lawlor. Had the dash, had the flair to take on the Dublin defence, and was brought down. This is Damien Delaney going for his second point of the match. Easily tapped over the bar. 1 point between the teams. The Dublin machine seems to be coming to a spluttering halt, thanks to the sheer tenacity, self-belief of this Laois side. Stephen Kelly. Two Laois players inside. Here's one of them. They were calling for the ball. Great run by Derek Conroy. Still Conroy. Oh, and he lost it right in front of the post, taken out of his grasp, and Seamus Pryor has given a free in. It was pulled. In fact, the referee is saying it was off the ground. So here is a chance for Laois to level the match. It's taken them just over 30 minutes. But what a transformation, and what good tactical planning by the Laois management. I reiterate, the changes made in the Laois half-forward line are showing signs of improvement. Attained. 3 points for Damien Delaney and 6 for his county. And let me remind you that Dublin are playing with a slight wind advantage in this first half. Paul Curran, Kieran Whelan. Frustration amongst the Laois players for the free, and the more dissent by Laois. And that dissent now gives Dublin a realistic chance of scoring from here. With that unique style of his, kicks it over the bar. Dublin go back in front, if only just. Tony Marr, pulled back by Brian Steins. The grip at midfield has been altered considerably now by George Doyle and Tony Marr. Brian Steins and Kieran Whelan not as dominant. Here's Steins gone back into a more defensive role. Paddy Moore, Paddy Christie, Jim Gavin. Down towards Desi Farrell. Only Brendan O'Brien is now up front. This is O'Brien to Farrell. Nobody inside. And that is a great pick by Desi Farrell. Just when you need something special. And Dublin now are back in front by 2 points. As the Dubs play fancy football. And it gives possession straight to Laois. Stephen Kelly from almost an impossible, it wasn't impossible, but it was almost. Great point by Stephen Kelly, his second of the day. 8 points to 7. We're on the voyage for a thrilling encounter here. This is a superb score. Look at this. Just sneaking inside the post by centimetres. Jason Sherlock on, and Brendan O'Brien. That's the news at half-time as the second half progresses. And Dublin playing against the breeze now. Laois with both wind and sunshine advantage. First attack of the game. Oh dear, what a start. But he came on as a substitute, and to be perfectly honest, if he continues on like this, he has to be man of the match. Mick Lawlor has added a whole new dimension to the Laois attack. The sides level within 10 seconds of the start. Simple ball outside. Lawlor was available not once but twice. Got it second time. What about that for a kick? Great play. Paul Curran has gone back to his more familiar wing-back position, and Paul Croft is now centre-back as Tommy Carr makes changes. George Doyle, only for Declan Darcy to pick it up. Jason Sherlock back to Darcy. Nice play, getting inside Kevin Fitzpatrick. Fergal Byrne is there. Under pressure, gives it away. The goalkeeper out of position. Jim Gavin takes the shot and sends it over the bar. Well, this really was a gift by Laois to Dublin. They had plenty of players available. And when the ball did come into Fergal Byrne, his clearance found a Dublin player. Plenty of options here just to blast it, but he was under pressure. Nobody really came to his assistance. Jim Gavin had a relatively easy task. The Laois crowd here, certainly at Croke Park, getting very much behind their players. Good ball to Stephen Kelly. Lawlor had gone for the return. Crossfield ball was never on. And Jim Gavin knocked it away. And David Sweeney. It's Dublin go backwards rather than forwards in terms of their attempted clearance. Laois have it once more. Good effort, great touch. Oh, that is a touch of class by Hughie Emerson. And amazingly, the sides level yet again. Kevin Fitzpatrick and David Sweeney rather. Looking around for options. The ground opens up before him. Now he'll take on the kick. It's curling too much. It's not. It's over the bar. The substitute from Port Arlington has rocked Hill 16 to its foundations. The people of Laois begin to believe that the glory days at senior level just might be around the corner. This was great play by David Sweeney. To his credit, he looked around there. He was trying to see if anybody was in a better position. When nobody was, he then decided to do it himself, and he did it admirably. So Darren Homan from the Ballyboden St Enda's club comes in, and it looks like, and here come Laois again. No fluke. But can they continue on? The music is silent as Damien Delaney takes this spree to put his side in front by 2 points. Seamus Pryor is going for his fourth as Darren Homan watches to put Laois in front for the first time by 2 points. It's there by George Doyle. 3 to Dublin. Kieran Whelan. It's a dangerous ball. Oh, superbly gathered! And the referee concedes it is a ball. Kieran Whelan. Way off target. Dessie Farrell. When leadership is required, look no further than the Dublin captain. Putting inside the Laois cover. Great play by Dessie. Leadership needed, and he almost pulled it off. Fergal Byrne. Great block down by the Dublin attack as they put the pressure on now. Ian Robertson feeding Paul Croft. Feeding a man who could score, Declan Darcy. It's very high, but it's also very much wide. Joe Higgins, one of the most stylish players on view here today. Great run. Feeds Barney Marr. Available outside is David Sweeney going for his second point. Croke Park erupts to blue and white. This could well be a day to remember. Beat Dublin in Olympic. For battling skills, one has to give full credit on this day to the footballers of Laois, because Mick Lawlor popped up here. He's been scoring at one end, creating chances and blocking in the other. A worry is Sheehy. Kevin Fitzpatrick has seemed to have fouled him. Referee is pointing where he... Jim Gavin hits it well. And the referee has given a penalty. Quite insistent, as you can see. Quite assertive, Seamus Pryor. And Declan Rooney is protesting to the referee. Let's just watch this again. As the free by Jim Gavin didn't seem to be causing any major problems. It was the Dublin man who had his jersey there on the Laois man as he came down. We didn't see if anything was happening beforehand. George Doyle can protest, but certainly the referee is adamant it is a penalty. Fourth time, if Paddy scores, he hits it. Oh, wonderful save by Fergal Byrne. Wonderful goalkeeping. And yes, Fergal, you can afford a smile. Heart-pumping stuff in Croke Park. Christie hit it well. Byron was equal to it. And deflect as Damien Delaney takes this free outside the Dublin 45. Hits it superbly. Laois could well be on their way to the Leinster final on the 1st of August. All odds are back at Laois senior football level. Conroy to Hughie Emerson. Remember, Tom Cribben moved him around midfield. Emerson decides to go it alone. Oh, that is magnificent football. The one time he was told by his man, a death blow to the Dublin team that could well knock them out of the Leinster Championship and the All-Ireland Series. Great play by the big full forward from Port Arlington. Robertson going for the goal. That's it. They surely deserved it. 16 comes alive now. It's their turn to sing and hop and joy. By Dublin. And to Kieran Whelan's creativity gives it to Ian Robertson. He was always threatening. Despite things going astray today for Dublin, they have showed tremendous battling. Can they possibly equalise? It's aimed at Jason Sherlock. Outside is Desi Farrell. He could score. Declan Darcy on the run. Is it all going to end for Laois? It's not, as they survive, but only just by centimetres. It's still there. It's crossed in an empty goal mouth. Picked up and put over the bar by Ian Robertson. For Dublin, a game that was surely gone from their grasp is now back on firm. I think you will see that the ball was clearly picked off the ground by the big full forward. Just watch his hands going down first. Off the ground, it should have been a free out for Laois. And level. It goes to a replay. Dublin survive, and certainly it is because of their self-belief, their experience, their spirit, that they fought back from this. They looked dead and gone as we approached injury time. The ball switched from the Laois attack down to the Dublin attack, and Ian Robertson with a goal and 2 points in this match